Hi, and welcome to Talks with Shay. So, today I would like to begin with reading from Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 12. And it says, Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. So, today for part 4 of Fresh Start, I would like to talk to you about permission. So when I'm talking about permission, I'm talking about giving yourself the permission to change. There's so many things in life that we need to change about ourselves, right? But when I think about, we're talking about a fresh start. We're talking about different things that we can do to make this year one of the best years thus far. And so, one of the things that we can do is give ourselves the permission to change. It's hard, right? It is hard because sometimes we feel like, well, I'm okay, and most of us are pretty much okay where we are, but we can always be better. When I think about even change, maybe some things that we have to change, it might be friends, for example. We may have to change our circle of friends. I made a post on Facebook the other day and it was like life lessons for me, and I listed about 20 to 25 different things. And one of the things I said on there was I had to recognize that some friends are part-time and some are full-time. And so I had to reevaluate different friendships and put people, depending on, if you have a circle, they may be here, might be in a circle. You may have to put them here or you may have to put them here. And so I had to recognize certain people and say, you know what? Maybe you don't need to put you on this little circle. Maybe you need to be right here or even right here or not in the circle at all. But, I had to recognize that and see that are they considered a part-time friend or a full-time friend? Because I look at it like this. We all know what jobs look like, right? Part-time versus full-time. I feel like it's the same thing with friendships. A friendship may be a part-time friendship. You're somebody you're not talking to often. And then you have a full-time friendship where you're someone that you talk to more often that probably know more about you. When I think about just changes and making sure that our circle of friends may have to change sometimes, it can be scary. Because someone that you're so used to maybe talking to, being around, hanging with, and so forth, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like that season change. And it's like things not just sitting right anymore. And so you have to reevaluate that friendship and make some changes to fit what it needs to fit, where it needs to fit for this particular season. Like they say, some people are in your lifetime for seasons and some are a lifetime. And sometimes that's the hardest thing for us to acknowledge. We try to make lifetime friendships with people that God only designed to be a season. So that may be one of the changes that you need to reevaluate moving forward. When I think of change, giving myself permission to change, what about personality? What about how we act? What about how we are? If we can't be honest about our own struggles within ourselves, ask someone about you. Ask someone that's not your amen partner or amen friend that's not afraid to tell you the truth that may sting a little bit. We all need somebody like that in our lives, and we all should have that. I know I have it. But I can be honest with myself about certain things. Like, Shalonda, now you know you wrong for that. Sometimes I literally have to give myself a whole conversation and say, no, you're not going to do that like that, and talk my way through it, But you have to make sure that you look at your personality and say, what can I do different to be better? Right? Because at the end of the day, we're all trying to be more like him. And if we're wanting to be more like him, we need to make sure that we're acting more like him. So if you're not sure of the tweaks you need to make in your personality moving forward for 2024, Ask a friend if you can't be honest with yourself. Because guess what? Giving yourself the permission that you need to be a better person, it's going to be worth it in the end. It's going to hurt. It's like you're going to be hitting some little bumps like, oh, ouch. Oh, that one hurt. Oh, ouch. Ask God to convict your heart about certain things when you act a certain way and watch him do it. I literally, y'all, no joke, had this conversation with God. And I was like, if X or Y, Z, whatever happens, God, give me a headache. Or make me have a little pain in my stomach or something like that to put me in check, to make sure that I stay in line and to keep doing the things that I need to do to please him. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters most to me. And it should for you as well. Another thing sometimes we have to change is our environment. I worked with a state for 8.5, a little over 8 years or whatever. And I can remember working with parents that have lost custody of their kids, had drug problems and things like that. And I would tell them, your environment needs to change. It's easier to make a change in your environment if you're in an apartment or somewhere like that. But if you bought a house, then it's kind of different. I remember for myself, personally speaking, after my first divorce, I shout out, y'all. I'm like, I don't want to see them in my face like he left me and went back to that woman. I don't want to be here for them all up in my face. I didn't want to deal with it. I'm like, I need to get away. My first mind was like, I'm going to just move to Texas. I don't know why Louisiana people seem like they always just want to go to Texas, but that's how it was. Well, God didn't open that door. Instead, he opened the door for me to move to Florida. He took me there, went through this church that was, oh my God, was amazing. And God healed me in that season. And I could remember a year later, God telling me while I was ironing my clothes, I remember like it was yesterday, it's time to go back home. And I'm like, God, really? And I did. Came back to Louisiana, but I had to change my environment for that season to get the healing that I needed for myself. And God knew that, and he opened up that door, and that opportunity presented itself, and I shot out. Knew nobody in Florida, had to start a whole new job. God gave me favor. These people helped me, y'all. I'm so forever grateful for them, But God is just amazing. Sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to change our environment to get the change that we want to see done. So if that's what you have to do, then do what you have to do. We're talking about a fresh start, right? For 2024. And a fresh start has to start now with giving yourself that permission to change. What changes are you willing to take? You have to be willing to make those changes. We need people in our corner that's able to be honest with us and tell us, this is what you need to work on if you can't figure it out for yourself. We all have things that we can work on. When I think about just different things that I know I need to work on, and, we talked a few times this month about writing some things out. Write it out if you have to write it out to make it visual for you to be able to see it. And sometimes writing it out, take it, throw it away, and then say, you know what? I'm done with that for 2024. And it's okay. But you do whatever you have to do to make sure you see the change that you want to be. It starts with you. But you have to give yourself that permission to change and to want to change. Be a better parent. Be a better spouse. Be a better child of God. Be a better driver on the street. Sometimes road rage is real. Be a better employee. Be a better person altogether. Get out of the box, your little box that you've been in. Get yourself out of the box and say, you know what? It's time for me, even though it's unfamiliar territory, right? And that's not always easy, but it will be worth it later. God's going to give you the strength to be the change that you want and the change that he wants to see you be. So work on it. Recognize those things and give yourself that permission to change. Make the changes that's necessary. It'll be worth it and it'll be beneficial for those around you and those that love you the most. Amen. Amen. So before Shay go, I just want to remind you, if you haven't already, check out my website at www.talkswithshay.org. You can subscribe to my videos on YouTube. Y'all hit that like button. Or find me on Facebook. Like my page, share my page. Invite your friends to like my page. And until next time with Talks with Shay, you guys, Shay is out. Talk to y'all next week. Y'all stay blessed.